In our previous chapter, we witnessed the birth of rocks from fire, the igneous rocks, formed by cooling magma. But once those rocks reach the surface, the battle begins. They're attacked by rain, wind, rivers, and ice. They are broken down, grain by grain. But this destruction is actually a form of creation. The fragments of old mountains become the building blocks of something new. Sedimentary rocks. These rocks are Earth's history books. They cover the majority of the planet's surface, and hidden within their layers are clues about ancient oceans, lost deserts, and the evolution of life itself. Today, we will learn how to read them. By the end, you can infer what moved sediment, how far it traveled, where it settled, and what happened after burial. Chapter 1. What is sediment? Types of sedimentary rocks. Sediment begins as material removed from pre-existing rocks by erosion. Transport agents, rivers, oceans, wind, runoff, carry particles called detritus, meaning fragments of rocks and minerals. When the transporting energy drops and particles fall out, we call it sedimentation. There are 4 major ways sedimentary rocks form. A. Clastic sedimentary rocks, made of broken fragments or detritus that settle out when transport energy drops. B. Chemical sedimentary rocks form when dissolved ions in water precipitate as minerals, often due to evaporation or high concentration. C. Biochemical sedimentary rocks form when organisms extract ions from water to build shells or skeletons. Those remains accumulate. D. Organic sedimentary rocks form from accumulated plant matter, typically in oxygen-poor settings like swamps. Chapter 2. The 5 processes of clastic sediment and rock formation. Clastic sedimentary rocks form through 5 linked processes. Think of this as a pipeline: rock to sediment to rock again. 1. Weathering. First, weathering, turning solid rock into smaller fragments or dissolved ions through physical and chemical weathering. 2. Erosion. Second, erosion moves those weathered products from where they formed. This movement can be via gravity, landslides or rockfalls, running water, wind, or ice. 3. Transportation. Third, transportation carries sediment, sliding downslope, blowing in wind, or flowing in streams, rivers, and currents. The key idea: transport distance and energy leave clues in sediment. 4. Deposition. Fourth, deposition happens when energy drops. In practical terms, if velocity becomes too low to keep grains moving, they settle. This means grain size is an energy indicator. High energy environments can transport bigger grains, low energy environments can't. 5. Lithification, diagenesis. Finally, lithification turns loose sediment into solid rock through compaction. Burial squeezes grains together, reduces pore space, expels water. And 2. Cementation. Minerals precipitate in pore spaces and bind grains. Key clarification, important: lithification is the hardening result. Diagenesis is broader. It includes all physical, chemical, and biological changes after deposition and burial. Lithification is part of that. Most sedimentary rocks are held together by cement. Common cements include quartz, calcite, and hematite. Chapter 3. Clastic texture as evidence: sorting, rounding, maturity. Sediment texture is like evidence left at a scene. We use it to infer how the sediment moved and where it was deposited. A. Sorting. Sorting is the degree of uniformity of grain size. High energy currents can carry larger fragments. As energy decreases, heavier particles drop out first, lighter particles keep moving. This produces sorting by density, and when density is similar, sorting happens by size. Environmental examples: Beach deposits and wind-blown deposits, often well-sorted, energy more constant. Stream deposits, often poorly sorted, velocity varies across the stream and over time. B. Rounding. Rounding increases with abrasion during transport. Sharp corners get knocked off. So rounding tells us something about transport time or distance. An angular grain tells us the journey was short. A perfectly rounded grain tells us the sediment traveled a long distance over a long time. C. Sediment maturity. Sediment maturity refers to how long sediment has been in the sedimentary cycle. Texturally mature, well-rounded plus well-sorted, long transport or reworking. Compositionally mature, dominated by stable minerals, especially quartz, because unstable grains break down with prolonged exposure or transport. A sediment containing angular volcanic fragments plus olivine plus plagioclase would be immature. Angular plus poorly sorted plus unstable minerals. Beach sand dominated by rounded quartz grains is mature, long transport and quartz stability. Chapter 4. Major clastic rock types. Clastic rocks are classified largely by grain size, from boulders down to clay. In general, coarse sediment is often found closer to its source. Finer sediment tends to travel farther. 4.1. Conglomerate versus breccia. Both are coarse-grained rocks rich in pebbles, cobbles, or boulders. Conglomerate clasts are well-rounded, meaning longer transport, high-energy environment capable of moving large clasts. Breccia clasts are angular, meaning little transport, often near source or chaotic deposition. B. Sandstones. Sandstone is sand-sized sediment lithified, and it forms in many depositional settings. Quartz is dominant, but composition can reveal source and history. Types. If the rock is made of sand, it is a sandstone. If it is nearly 100% quartz, we call it a quartz arenite. If it contains a lot of feldspar, it is an arkose. If it has rock fragments mixed in, it is a lithic sandstone. And if it is dirty, containing more than 15% mud, we call it a wake. C. Mudrocks. Mudrocks are fine-grained clastics, like siltstone and shale. Siltstone, silt-sized grains. Shale, clay-sized particles, breaks into thin, flat fragments. Mudstone, like shale, but does not split into thin layers. Fine-grained clastics deposit in low-energy, non-agitated water, like deep ocean basins and lakes. Organic-rich shales are major petroleum source rocks. Chapter 5. Biochemical and organic sedimentary rocks. Now we shift from broken fragments to rocks formed by organisms. Biochemical limestone. Organisms precipitate calcite, CaCO3, to build shells and skeletons. Accumulated skeletal remains become limestone. Fossils may be preserved or destroyed by recrystallization during lithification. Biochemical chert. Tiny silica-secreting plankton, like radiolaria and diatoms, accumulate and recrystallize into biochemical chert, often in thin beds. Diatomite. If diatoms accumulate and do not recrystallize, they form a white rock called diatomite. Coal, organic rock. Coal forms from fossil plant matter, deposited in lush tropical wetland settings, and requires low oxygen conditions. It's carbon-rich and burns easily. Chapter 6. Chemical sedimentary rocks. Chemical sedimentary rocks form when dissolved ions, delivered by streams and groundwater, precipitate as minerals. That's also why seawater is salty. Ions ultimately accumulate in oceans. Evaporites. Evaporites form by evaporation of seawater or lake water, producing halite and gypsum as ion concentration increases. Common in lakes with no outlets or restricted ocean basins. Travertine. Travertine is calcite precipitated from groundwater, forming a chemically precipitated limestone, often in hot springs, caves, and lakes. Dolostone. Dolostone forms when limestone is chemically modified by Mg-rich fluids. Calcite transforms into dolomite, CaMgCO32. Chemical cherts. Groundwater can precipitate SiO2 to replace existing minerals, forming non-biogenic chert varieties like flint, jasper, petrified wood, and agate. Chapter 7. Reading the pages. Sedimentary structures. Every depositional event leaves fingerprints. Sedimentary structures are the clues that tell us about flow, energy, and exposure. Case File A. Bedding and stratification. Successive depositional events produce layering, bedding, or stratification, often due to changes in color, grain size, mineral content, or chemistry. A series of beds is strata. Regionally recognizable sequences are formations, fundamental mapping units. Alternating layers can form rhythmic layering. Varves are seasonal lake deposits, coarse in summer, fine in winter when the surface freezes. Case File C. Crossbedding. Crossbedding is sets of inclined beds. Inclination points to wind or water movement direction. Boundaries can represent erosional surfaces, common in beaches, sand dunes, and river deposits. Case File D. Graded bedding, or turbidites. Graded bedding forms when current velocity decreases. Coarsest settles first, then medium, then fine, often tied to turbidity currents. Repeated sequences are turbidites. Case File E. Ripple marks. Ripples reflect flow velocity and grain size. They indicate shallow water deposition and can form by wind. Asymmetric ripples indicate flow direction. Symmetric ripples indicate oscillating wave energy. Ripples can also help identify original up-down directions in rocks. Case File F. Mudcracks. Mudcracks form when wet sediment dries and shrinks, and in rocks they indicate exposure at the surface followed by rapid burial. Case File I. Sole marks and raindrop marks. Flutes eroded into soft sediment can be filled and preserved as casts, indicating flow direction and erosion deposition events. Raindrop marks are tiny pits from rain, suggesting sediment was exposed right before burial. Case File H. Fossils. Fossils are the most important environmental indicators. Species inhabit specific environments. Fossils also help with relative age and paleoclimate interpretation. Case File I. Rock color. Dark colors often indicate sulfides and buried organic matter in reducing environments. Red beds often reflect oxidizing environments and commonly non-marine deposition. Chapter 8. Sedimentary environments. Where sediment ends up. Each environment has a characteristic energy regime and sediment supply. If we match rock characteristics to modern environments, we can interpret ancient environments. Sedimentary environments include terrestrial, glacial, alluvial fans, sand dunes, mountain streams, lakes, rivers. Marine, deltas, coastal beaches, shallow marine clastics, shallow marine carbonates, deep marine. Chapter 9. Transgressions and regressions. Sea level stories. Sea level has risen and fallen many times through geologic history due to climate changes and tectonic changes affecting seafloor shape. When sea level rises, coast migrates inland, transgression. When sea level falls, coast migrates seaward, regression. These shifts cause sedimentary sequences to repeat vertically as environments migrate back and forth. Conclusion: the cycle continues. After deposition and burial, diagenesis begins. Compaction squeezes out pore space and water. Recrystallization can harden minerals. Fluids and organisms can precipitate cement in pore spaces. Common cements include quartz, calcite, and hematite. Now, very important, diagenesis depends on oxidation conditions. Oxidizing environment, organic remains convert to CO2 and water, and iron changes, and sediment can become deep red, like rust. Reducing environment, oxygen is depleted. Organic material can become solid carbon, or hydrocarbons, petroleum source. Finally, as burial temperature rises beyond about 200 degrees Celsius, diagenesis transitions into metamorphism. But that is a story for our next episode. Sedimentary rocks don't just record time, they record motion, energy, climate, and life itself. And once you learn their language, Earth's diaries start speaking back.